One of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true even if it isn't true.
I guess it took me like crazy things can come true. I didn't really think this would work. Because when I see the rocket lift off, I see like 1,000 things that not work, and it's amazing when they do. And I was really, seeing the two boosters land synchronized, really just like the simulation. I mean, it makes me think like there really could be quite a scalable approach. You know, you could imagine large numbers of those just coming in, landing, taking off, landing, doing many flights per day. I think it gives me a lot of faith for our next architecture, the sort of the planetary spaceship. You can have different names for it, but BFR is kind of the code name. And it gives me confidence that BFR really quite workable. But I was actually looking at the side boosters and like, they're pretty big, you know, they're 16 stories tall, 60-foot leg span, but we need to be way bigger than that. So I think it's given me a lot of confidence that we can make the BFR design work. And one of the interesting things about, say, Falcon Heavy versus Falcon 9 is that Falcon Heavy has the same level of expendability as Falcon 9. So if you look at, say, the price of Falcon 9 is $60 million, Falcon Heavy is 90, even though it's got 3 times as much capability.
Listen, life is hard. Life is unfair. Life is a long, hard, tough journey that we all go through. And a way to make it go so much more smooth, setting out your goals, planning them out, writing them down, saying, this is what I want to accomplish. This is how I'm going to accomplish it. And go out and do it. Accomplish what you write down. Just be focused and driven on those tasks that you have at hand. One of the hardest things to do in life is to be honest. Being honest sometimes can be harder in the short term, but easier for you in the long term because you know what you did was right. But lying, on the other hand, is making it easier in the short term, but significantly harder to deal with in the long term. It's just like a doctor having to tell their patient they're sick and have a terminal illness. The doctor should tell them that, and it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard to hear for that person, but it's better to know that than not know and all of a sudden things start hitting the fan and they can't help you. In your life, you're going to have to go through some tough, hard conversations with people, but those are the conversations that will make you grow so much more and prepare you for your life and your future. The more you have these hard conversations with people, the easier it gets throughout time.
And even when you've got like a lot of really smart people working super hard to minimize the probability of failure, it's still there. And people have asked me like, well, why are rockets, especially hard? And the part of it is like, everything has to work the first time. Like you can't do a recall, you can't patch it. It's like 9 minutes to orbit or it's over. And you can never test the rocket completely in the environment that it's actually going to experience. You can't fully recreate something that's moving super fast in a vacuum on the surface of Earth. Like you can only really recreate that in space. I mean, I should say like when we started SpaceX and Tesla, I really thought the probability of success was very low. I mean, it wasn't like I think, oh, we'll definitely be successful. I thought we'd be like maybe 10% likely. And we came very close to both companies not succeeding in 2008. We'd had 3 failures of the SpaceX rocket, so we were 0 for 3. We had the crazy financial recession, like the Tesla financing round had fallen apart because it's like pretty hard to raise money for a startup car company if GM and Chrysler are going bankrupt. That was a tricky one. And unfortunately, at the end of 2008, the 4th launch, that was the last launch we had money for.
The 5 things that I thought about at the time in college, which was now quite a long time ago, 25 years ago, making life multi-planetary, accelerating the transition to sustainable energy, the internet, broadly speaking, and genetics and AI. I think I didn't expect to be involved in all of those things. I actually, at the time in college, I sort of thought helping with electrification of cars was how I would start out, and that's actually what I worked on as an intern, was advanced ultracapacitors to see if they would be a breakthrough relative to batteries or energy storage in cars. And then when I came out to go to Stanford, that's what I was going to be doing my grad studies on was working on advanced energy storage technologies for electric cars. There does seem to be like a time for particular technologies when they're at a steep point in the inflection curve. And I didn't want to, do a PhD at Stanford and watch it all happen. And I wasn't entirely certain that the technology I'd be working on would actually succeed. You can get a, doctorate on many things that ultimately do not have practical bearing on the world. And I wanted to, I really was just trying to be useful. That's the optimization. It's like, what can I trying to do that would actually be useful.
Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning. If we don't improve our pace of progress, I'm definitely going to be dead before we go to Mars. So I'm just would like to not be dead when by the time we go to Mars. That's inspiration here. So if it's taken us 18 years just to get ready to do the first people to orbit, we better improve our rate of innovation, or based on past trends, I am definitely going to be dead before Mars. So we've got to improve our pace of innovation a lot. To the point of the question that was just asked, I want to make sure Tesla recruiting does not have anything that says requires university, because that's absurd. But there is a requirement of evidence of exceptional ability. You just can't, if you're trying to do something exceptional, they must have evidence of exceptional ability. I don't consider going to college evidence of exceptional ability. In fact, ideally, you dropped out and did something. Obviously, Gates is a pretty smart guy, he dropped out. Jobs, pretty smart, he dropped out. Larry Ellison, smart guy, he dropped out. Obviously not needed.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.